Hello, it's Gray, and this is Gray Knits, my podcast where I talk about my knitting and this week a lot of my crocheting. I think last episode I said I didn't like to crochet. Apparently that's a lie, and I really do love it. I mean, I go through phases, so that's per usual with me with crocheting. But anyway, usually we start these episodes. The one time I've done it in the past, I've started it by talking about something I'm wearing that is something I knitted. But I don't have that right now because it's way too hot. So I'm just wearing a regular shirt. I've instead brought a home good, which is this like lap blanket that I made. A couple months ago, I made the open book wrap by Tony from TLC Yarn Crafts. I think is a collaboration between her and Hobby Yarns. But basically, that's a shawl that is like it has different colors. Like it really is supposed to accentuate like different colored yarn. So I made that for a friend, so I don't have it anymore. And I made this during a time where I didn't have like any camera to speak of, so I don't have any pictures of it. But I do have leftover yarn from it, and I didn't know what to do because it's not like. Sorry, my chair is creaky. It's not like every yarn is enough to make anything, so I just combine them all into one fun little blanket. I do think it is gorgeous. Like, I think this is beautiful. All of these are hand-dyed yarn from that shawl. I used a herringbone half double crochet. I think that's what it's called, which makes it like less stiff and more flowy and more plush than a regular half double crochet. Okay, well, all of the yarn is like hand dyed yarn that's locally blah blah blah, except for this one because it's not dyed at all. It's just undyed cotton, and then this one. So the yellow one, the blue one, and where is it? This one, the one that's like brown and gray. Those are milk cotton yarn that a friend gave to me. So yeah, I do think it's very pretty. I think it ended up looking quite nice. I made it initially for our couch downstairs so that we can have like a lap blanket, but I found that like it didn't really get used for that. It got kind of used as like decoration because it does look quite nice, like laid out in the couch, and my mom really liked it to be there. But I was like, I'm sad that it's just being looked at and not being used. So I did bring it upstairs, and now I'm using it in my room when I'm like on my desk. It's like heavy, so it actually feels really nice when I have knee pain because it feels like weighted. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That's my like past knit of the podcast. Okay, now on to what I've been doing this past 2 weeks. I have no big project to speak of that I have finished. But I do have a couple of stuff that I think are very fun. First, I'll go in, because I don't have like a big one that I want to show off. I'll just go with like order at which I finished them. So the first one is I have this like red mohair yarn that has been lying around for quite a while. I have no idea what to do with it. Like just, I don't know. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and it's because I just have so little of it. I can make anything with it. And so what I've ended up doing is I have finally gotten rid of it in my stash. So this yarn is completely decimated. It's gone. But I made like a fun little headband out of it. This one is like for my baby sister. I'll wear it so that you guys can see. Because like like my sister has basically the same complexion and the same hair color as me. And so what I'm trying to show here is that it fits me color-wise. So you can imagine that like the person who does wear it like it looks nice on her. It looks bad on me. Well, that's just life. My hair is not conducive to headbands. But this one, I do regret making it like a tie-on headband. I suppose I probably had enough because, like, she's a kid. I probably had enough to make it so that, like, it's just a regular headband like that. But I suppose this way it's, like, adjustable. Also, the reason why I did it this way was because I was afraid I was gonna run out of yarn. But I didn't. So, and this is, like, all of it. Like, I used the exact amount that I had left on this thing, which I do think is incredibly fun. You can actually see that I have, like, double crochets for one side, because, like, I started it, like, here, and then I went down here, and then I picked up, went down here, and you can see that I have, like, double crochets here, and here I have treble crochets because I started freaking out that I don't have enough, which I don't know, maybe I didn't. I just think it's really fun. This color is gorgeous. Oh, there we go. I can just put it on like that. This color is very gorgeous. I want to make something for myself that is like this color. I think it's very cute. Ta-da! Yeah. My sister does like it very much, but that's the wonderful thing about having, like, kids and being a knitter or a crocheter. Like, kids are more likely to appreciate everything that you do. Like, they're just so enthusiastic about everything and appreciate everything. I feel like adults usually are like, oh, that's nice, about, like, the things to do, and then they just really don't give a shit, which is fine. It's very nice to have, I suppose, an audience and a receiver of gifts that really, really, really like it and are very into it and, like, keep it around a lot. I've made a lot of things for my baby sister. I would say most of the accessory stuff I made are for her. I've made her, like, I suppose I'll, like, show it next time or something, but I think that my favorite thing that I've made her is this cute little sweater, I suppose. And it's, like, multicolored. It's very cute. And one time she got home from school and she told me, like, hey, like, I told my friends that you made this, and I told them that you can make some for them too. So all of them want this sweater, and, like, this is this person's favorite color. You should make it in this color. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. Like, it's so much work. I'm so sorry. And, like, like, it's expensive. They're expensive, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, they can pay. I'll tell them to pay, which I do think is incredibly sweet. And I did end up not doing it. And I also have made her toys. I made her, I think, a headband before. I made her, actually, I think it's here. Hold on. Here are, like, some old stuff, just, like, back in the day. Made her this stuff. This is a little octopus. Ta-da! This is a mermaid. The hair did not used to look like that. She cut it. That's not my fault. She put bangs on it and it looked bad. But yeah, anyway. A mermaid. Very fun. And this one is the one I'm talking about. This is, like, one of the favorite things I've done too. It's the little baby kids, like, crochet beanie from the Spider-Man movie. I don't know what it's called. The animated one. Anyway, I think it looks very cute, and she also did enjoy this very much, and she loved it very much. And she wears it around a lot, and she think it's very fun. Anyway, so yeah. I don't know. I love making stuff for people, and I like it when people appreciate it, I suppose. And kids love to appreciate things. Anyway, that's my first finished project. My second one is this. So last week I talked about making a dumpling bag and how, like, I want to make it for people and stuff, and I have so much yarn that I can maybe use for it if it works out. It did not work out. It looks bad. Okay, so here it is. I'm, like, ashamed to show it, but I do use it. So, like, Ta-da! So it's just a tiny little bag. I do think the yarn that I used is not correct. This yarn is, because I have a lot of like soft cotton yarn, which is basically unplied cotton yarn. Or not unplied, untwisted cotton yarn. Which is like, it's fun, it's soft and out in the like end result. And I like to use it for garments because it's very comfy on the skin, without feeling like, it's very comfy on the skin. It is difficult to work with, but you know, you live with what you live with. This one, I do think it's way too soft for this kind of project. I should have gotten a yarn. I should have used a yarn that is more sturdy, you know. But you know what? I use it. Like, okay, other insults about this. Look at how uneven I made this Kitchener stitch. Maybe I'm like actually awful at the Kitchener stitch. Like, looks. Why did I make it like that? Yeah. The thing about the Kitchener stitch is like, you know, halfway through you're like, I'm doing something wrong, but it's actually so difficult to like pull it back, to frog it back. So you just go with it. And this is me going with it. At this point, I figured no one else is going to really like look at it, or like if they do, like, who give a shit? So yeah, this one is very fun because I use it as like a place to hold my yarn when I'm working on it on the go. So for example, I'll be in the car, I'll have my yarn here and I'll put it here and I'll knit like this, like this. It's like there while I'm knitting, and it's very convenient. Like, just pull the yarn out of it and it's very fun. It serves its purpose for me. And so I'm glad I made it. I'm glad I have it. I do think like the one handle thing is excellent. Like, especially if you're using it to hold yarn while you're working, which is, you know, what I'm using it for. Like, it's excellent because it's not waddling around. It's just one thing. It is actually very useful, and the like concept of the bag is like, the concept of a knot bag is good, and it has been good before it was a knitted bag. But you know, just the fact that I made it and I used up yarn that I otherwise would have just been there, into something that I use on the daily. It's very fun. I do think there is an interesting thing where I do have like a lot of objects that I use like a lot. Like, I would say honestly, the make that I have gotten the most use out of is my crocheted pencil case. Should I get it? If I were to measure everything that I have made in terms of how much I've used it and how present it is in my day-to-day life, this is the thing that is the most useful to me. Like, this pen case has been the most on my side. Like, I bring this everywhere, all the time, everywhere. And I do think it's quite wonderful. I actually used the same yarn that I used for that shawl. There was a lot of leftover. But so this yarn is also in that one. But yeah, like, this one I've gotten a lot of use out of it. And the point I'm trying to make is like, there are things where like, it's not like you're particularly super proud of the object. Like, I don't look at this and think, wow, love of my life, the most beautiful creation I've ever made, you know. But like, I understand that like, in terms of utility, I've used it a lot. And that's how I feel about the dumpling bag. Like, yeah, it does look kind of bad. But I am using it, and I'm glad to be using it, and I'm glad that it's here and that I made it. So yeah, dumpling bag, I'm probably not going to make it ever again. Or maybe if I do, I'll make it with like yarn that's more fitted for its purpose. But yeah. Okay, my third and last finished object will reveal to you a sneak peek of a current whip, but it's this yarn bowl. Ta-da! Wait, I'm going to remove the yarn inside. Just to... Okay, so this yarn bowl, I made it again with some leftover yarn from previous projects that are just cotton and etc. When I first made this, it was sturdy. Like, it sat upright. It didn't look this frumpy, right? However, I did spill tea on it. Like, I was drinking tea on my desk and it just fell everywhere. And so there was tea on it and it was black tea, so it was stained, so I had to wash it. And after it came out of the wash and I dried it, it became significantly softer, which is a lot of the time what happens when you block yarn. And now it's like a bit frumpy, so I suppose I'm going to starch it. I've looked into how I'm going to try to. I just wanted to have structure again and not be so frumpy. But again, this is one of those things that I do find incredibly useful for when... Because back in the day, I used to have a concept of like, I like delineating my projects. So I'd have a project, usually a big one, that is just a bedroom project. So I just only worked on it on my bedroom because it's so inconvenient to bring it outside. And then I have like a downstairs project, which is like what I work on when I'm in the living room or the dining room and stuff. And then I have the car project, I have a commute project. I liked that order of things. I do think having a yarn bowl that means that like I can just put my yarn here and like my notions and stuff, and like when I'm like, I want to bring this downstairs, just get it and bring it downstairs. Like, it's very convenient. And I do think like knitting is one of the things I'm the least organized about. Like, I need to make it easy for myself to knit in a way that is organized, because otherwise I'd never do it. And I do think having a yarn bowl is very fun. I do think like, because it is a crocheted yarn yarn bowl, and it's like cotton, like the yarn doesn't like around the way it would in like a very smooth wooden bowl. I'm fine by it. Like, I don't mind. Yeah, and it's just, I do think like having the hole here. Like, I didn't know actually if I wanted to do that, because like I think you can just have a bowl. Like, it will serve the main purposes it has for me, which is to hold my yarn and make it easy for portability. If it was just a bowl with no hole. But there is a hole. Ta-da! And I do think it is very fun. It was very fun to make, and I love that like it's a button situation. Yeah. Love a yarn bowl. Who would have thought? And like, who doesn't love to crochet something that is a circular thing? Who doesn't love to make these and then make it so that it's a bowl? Nobody. So it was a very fun crochet project. Yeah. Those are like all of my finished objects. I feel like I'm not really bringing anything to the table. That's a lie. I brought 3 things to the table. But you know what I mean. Like, I don't have like a big one like I had last week. But that's okay. That is how anything works. Sometimes you have a big project, sometimes you don't. But speaking of whips, I have 2 that I would like to show. You had a sneak peek of one earlier. And this one is like half done in that it's a sock and I finished the first pair. So this is the first sock of, I don't know, vanilla socks I'm making. Isn't it so wonderful? I blocked this. That's why it looks this nice. But this is, the yarn I use for this is Alice Comfort Sock yarn. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's stunning. Yeah. So the colorway has blue and yellow and orange and green and this like jacquard situation. What a wonderful thing. I showed this to a friend once And they said that it looks like something from Classic Who, which is very fun because this is a gift knit and I am giving it to someone who likes Doctor Who. So I hope they appreciate it. I just used the double pointed needle pattern from Crazy Sock Lady, just like I did in my last pair of socks. I love the self-striping. I think self-striping is incredibly fun. I would like to do more self-striping socks in the future. The only problem is like I don't actually see myself wearing self-striping yarn or self-striping sock or striped socks. Like it's not the vibe for me. So I do enjoy that I can like make it for other people and it's super cool. And it's like low effort, but it looks like it's high effort. And it does look amazing. Like look at it, it looks amazing. With like little to no effort. It's wonderful. Yeah, so my current progress with the second sock is this. I am, I think, 15 rows into the cuff. I did match it for a while. I was considering not matching it so that it'll be like fun match socks. But I thought, you know what? Let's match it. So they're matched. I think when it comes to the cuff, I won't be able to just because it's so much work to have the cuff or have the what the fuck is this? The heel flap match as well. And so I think it could be fun to have like two socks that are basically identical except for the heel flap. Like that's probably fine by me. And that's probably fine for the person who's going to receive this. So yeah, I hope they like it. I do think I'm still obsessed with sock knitting. I think it's wonderful. It's wonderful because it's like intricate enough that you don't feel like you're like faking it. I mean, you're never faking it when you're knitting, but there are times when like I'm knitting with thicker yarn where I feel less invested in the project because it takes shorter or whatever or something. I don't know. Like I just like the smaller more. Like it satisfies what I want to do with my knitting more. So it has that aspect to it. And also, it just finishes up quickly. So it's like best of both worlds, you know? And yeah, I do think this colorway is very cool. Unfortunately, the place where I bought it from, like I bought from them. And then a week later, I was like, want to buy more yarn. So I'm going to buy from them again. They're gone. Gone. And I was like, I mean, they're not gone. The shop is still there. The sock yarn isn't, even though they still had a lot of stock when the last time I checked and when I bought. And I actually messaged them like, hey, is this a mistake? I want to buy more yarn. And they were like, no, we don't have it anymore. Sorry. So I don't know. It's going to take me a while to go back to this. It's a bit sad that we don't really have access to a lot of sock yarn here. Like we just don't have access. And I suppose I can do 100% wool. Like I can find like surplus yarn that is sock yarn weight and that's like 100% wool and I can live with that. It's just because these are gift knits. I don't want them to be high maintenance because you can't wash wool. And I would like my friends who I give this to be able to wash it like without having to think all the time like I'm going to ruin it forever, you know. So there we go. Love this thing. 10/10. Love knitting socks. And then my second whip. The thing is, I've showed this last episode and it looks pretty much exactly the same that I did last episode, but I did do a lot of work on it. I just also undid all of it. So this is my damn crochet like shirt. I think I'm going to make it a shirt because I need to show it first, but the yarn's everywhere. So the last time I showed this, I said that I was going to do a ribbing on the sleeve. I did do that and it looked bad. So I'm doing something else. Except I'm not particularly sure what that something else is. Wait, oh no. The yarn is everywhere. Okay, there we go. Basically, this vest, I did like a ribbing on the side. It looks bad, looked awful. So I took it down and I tried to do a sleeve thing and I did my measurements wrong, so it looked awful. So I'm now redoing the sleeve thing. And my intention for this is for it to be like a shirt, I suppose. Like, I wanted to have a sleeve, and the way I've been doing it is like I'm making like a sleeve gap situation, and I'm not particularly sure what I'm doing. But does anyone know what they're doing ever? Is the question of all time. So basically, I start here, and then it's like that up to here, and then I just keep on extending down and down and down so that it will have like a cap before I go to the bottom, and then I just go on. The problem is I only have this much yarn left, and as you can see, I only have one sleeve, like literally 0.5% done. So I don't know. And like, I don't know why I'm working so hard for this thing. It also fits badly. Wait, I'll show you. Like, this is the current fit. Not particularly something to write a poem about. I do think it has the opportunity to be fun, and perhaps if I give up on it, I can just, like, wait, why is this kind of slaying? I think if I give up on it, I'll just give up on it. Like, I'll just do a single stitch around the armpit area so that it looks not as uneven as it is. And then, I don't know, maybe I can wear it like this. Does it look nice? Looks kind of fun. Or does it? Am I deluding myself? This is the project that has been in my whip for like 2 years now. And I just decided to... I haven't been working on it for 2 years. It's just... I worked for it for like a month in 2022 and then never touched it again. And now I'm touching it again. And I'm not sure if I like it. Maybe it's like secretly fine. Is it secretly fine? Maybe I should just do a single crochet around instead of doing the sleeve thing that I'm pretty sure is going to turn out looking so bad it's unreal. What do you guys think? I'm also dreading actually finishing this thing because of all the... See all that? Oh my god, there's so many ends to weave. But you know, I'm glad I'm making progress. I'm glad that I did do things and I did figure things out, even though I redid all of them. Maybe I'll redo what I'm doing right now again, but you know, sometimes I find that with knitting, I'm more of a side of I want a pattern. I want to follow a pattern that is well graded, well made. I don't want to figure anything out. I just want to do it. With crocheting, that's where I'm like, okay, I'll figure it out. No, and there's something to that. Like, I like that. I also think it's like it's a different kind of mental engagement. So yeah, love this thing. Or I don't know. I'm still deciding whether I love it or not. So, I don't know. Tune in next episode to see if I love this thing or not. Okay. Well, those are my 2 whips, honestly. I didn't... For some updates, I do have updates on things. What are my updates? Okay, so I said that I was going to make a tie last episode. I didn't end up doing it. The yarn I use for it is like this gray wool yarn that's fingering weight. I didn't end up using it because I ran out. Like, it's gone. And so I wound it up again. And I think what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to leave this yarn alone because I do need that yarn to potentially fix the sock that I made out of it in the future in case that sock like goes to shit. Also, I think because I'm really into sock knitting, eventually I'm going to have a bunch of like sock yarn that is like not enough to make a sock. And I think it would be fun to do like some colorwork situation with them. So I can just leave that and reserve it for that future endeavor of making socks out of sock yarn that I have used to make other socks. Hopefully one day, let's see. Yeah, I also finally bought the pattern for this Sadie sweater by Ozetta. I think I'm going to start on it when I finish this damn crochet vest. I'm just waiting to finish this because I don't want to have like two garments on the go. I only one garment and then whatever how many amount of accessories I want, but only one garment. Next. Oh, the where's my damn socks? This sock. I broke one of the needles. So last episode I talked about how the needles that I use for my socks are quite expensive, and they are the only expensive pair or expensive set of needles I own, and I do love them and they're great. Well, I broke one of them. It's not this because this is fine, but the other one is broken. And for a while I considered buying those like the flyers, the high flyers or whatever, the Chalgu flyers. I mean, obviously I'm not gonna buy those exact brands because they're expensive, but there are like versions of it online that I can access, and I'm like, maybe I can find them. And then I remembered that I have I have 120 cm 2.25 needles, circulars, and I was like, oh, I should do magic loop. I tried it. I dislike it. So we're back to DPNs. What I've done is I've taken 2.25s from the double pointed needle set that I have that is bamboo that is pretty bad, but like I mean it gets the job done, and it's just one needle in comparison to like all of this. So it's not like a giant imposition. I am sad that fucking Ginger Knit Pro Birchwood needle broke. It was Undas this past week, which means like lots of like going home to the province, going to the cemetery and stuff to visit the dead. And so like I was knitting in my aunt's room back in our province, and I think I like sat on it or something, but it broke. And I discovered that it was broken in the cemetery when I was like, it's so nice. I'm going to be in the cemetery and I'm just going to knit. And I couldn't because I'm like missing one needle. So that was very upsetting. But yeah. I don't know. Should I buy like those? But I don't want metal needles is the problem. I've been thinking of buying the like Knit Pro Zings or whatever they're called. But I don't like metal needles like for this small, but I don't know, maybe I will. Life is so difficult and the decisions that we make can be overwhelming sometimes, but you know what, you can just buy those goddamn needles. Another one, I have been thinking of making another pair of socks, this time a lace like socks. I'll put it here, I suppose. It's the sock that Florence from Florence Knitting podcast that I do love, by the way. It's a pattern that she made, and I want to try it out. I think it'll look great. And so I need some solid color yarn that's like colored for that one. The problem, as I've mentioned before, is the shop that sells the sock yarn that I last bought doesn't sell sock yarn anymore. And sock yarn is very hard to find, so I don't know if I can make it. And I am making it for a friend, so I don't want to just make it with like fuck all yarn that I find somewhere that's wool that's difficult to wash. But speaking of, I do think I can find like fuck all wool yarn that I will have to hand wash all the time. For socks, for me, because I want to make myself more socks. Unbelievable. You know, because socks has been my like go-to going out knitting for a while. People do make comments about it, and it does irritate me. It does piss me off. They'll go, "Oh, what's that? Like socks?" And then they'll ask me how much the yarn is or how long does it take me to make one and stuff, and I'll answer it. And they'll go, "Ah, but isn't it like, couldn't you just buy like the sock? Like, isn't it cheaper to just buy socks?" Fuck you. Yeah, pissing me off. Don't say that to me. Well, anyway, it is cheaper to just buy the sock, but I am not just buying the sock. I'm buying the experience of making the sock, which I enjoy tremendously. It gives me so much joy in my life. I love to do it, and I think I it makes for a great product that I'm incredibly proud of, incredibly attached to. And when I have knitwear, it's something that I wear more, it's something that I use more, and it's something that brings me joy to use. It's something that when it breaks, I know for a fact I'll repair it because one, I know how to. Two, I have incredible emotional attachment to it so that I'll repair it. And so like I think in the long run, like I'm under no delusions that like knitting is like better for you financially. Like that's not true. But there are other aspects of worth it other than financially. And I do think in the long run it's worth it. Like in general for me. I don't know, sorry. People piss me off recently. All of them. No, sorry. Not all of them. If you're watching this, you're probably fine. But most people piss me off. Okay. Next one, I am planning to make a knitted shirt for Christmas, like something that I can wear on Christmas, and I want it to be basically this color of red. I think it'll be incredibly fun. I'm thinking of buying the Poppy Tea pattern by Petite Knit, but I did find a pattern that is a shirt that looks pretty promising. It's by Stein Holgard Johansson, which I think is the same. Yeah, it is the same maker as the vest that I made last. So I don't know. I mean, it looks pretty good. I think I'll make it. It like looks more masculine, so that fits more my vibe. Um, I think I'll make a shirt. Love a shirt. Who doesn't love a shirt? I just think a knitted shirt is one of those things that like it looks so good. Like a knitted shirt looks so good. And I'm very excited. Love to make a knitted shirt. I mean, I haven't tried, so maybe I'd hate it, but in theory, I love it. Okay, well, I mean, that's all for knitting. I do talk about a media that I have watched, consumed, listened to, whatever, like the past 2 weeks. If I'm being honest, the thing that I have consumed the most of this past 2 weeks is The Big Bang Theory. I never watched it before. I kept on seeing YouTube shorts about it. I ended up watching it. I ended up liking it. I don't think I like it anymore. I'm on like season 3 episode fuck all. And I'm just not interested anymore in continuing. But I did watch so much. That is so much for me. I don't usually watch TV. But other than that, I would recommend Dead Big Collectors by Warren Ellis. I listened to it like audiobook format a couple days ago. Loved it tremendously. It's a short story. It's an hour long. It's amazing. I love it. It is a bit gory, so watch out for that. But if you like gore, why not? Well, yeah, anyway, that's it for this episode of Grey Knits. If you want to contact me, I suppose you can leave a comment. Don't contact me anywhere else. Bye!